Hi, I'm Gay Taylor. I'm from Just Patchwork. Today I thought I'd talk to you about half square triangles. And there's a lot of instructions on the net and people teach lots of different techniques on half square triangles. But I want to demonstrate today how I actually do half square triangles and why I find them most successful to do them in this manner. So when I'm talking about a half square triangle, this is what I'm talking about. This one's 3 inch, 3.5 inch, 3 inch finished half square triangle. So the easy way to do it, and I've actually got some here laid out on my rotating circular mat. I've got 2 pieces of fabric that measure across 3.5 inches, and they're just the strips. So just strips. We're not having to cut squares, we're not having to mark anything down. So what I'm going to do is just place them on top of one another, just matching the edges. If you're not quite sure about matching those edges, just get your rotary cutter and cut a square edge to it. You can cut, at that stage, you can actually cut your selvage edges off to get it prepared. And I'm going to use this triangle that I have. It's called the fat quarter triangle. Why I refer to it as the fat quarter triangle is that I was using a lot of fat quarters when I started to think about how I could successfully navigate doing half square triangles without wasting any fabric. And that's the pure essence of how I do them. I do not waste fabric. I'm using every bit of the strip. I'm not having to cut too much off, only just one little tag I need to cut off to square it up. So I'm using it. If you notice with it, the top here has already been cut off, so we've lost that 3/8 of an inch off there. We have markings. We have some dotted line markings. If I hold it, you may be able to see it. Dotted line marking, that represents a 1/4 inch seam. And then there's from the dotted line to the dotted line is 1 inch. Then a 1/4 inch from that dotted line to that dotted line is 2 inches from here to there, and another 1/2 inch. So we're showing where the edge of your strip is. So if you were to make 1.5 inch half square triangles, you would have the edge of your fabric at this point. The other bottom edge would be at this point. So the solid line going across. In the case of what I've got here, I've got 3.5 inch strips. So I'm just going to go from that edge to this one here, the one there. I could go from 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5 inch, 6 inch and create half square triangles, which is what I've done on the project that I've got behind me. If you can see there, I've done lots and lots of different half square triangles, mainly in 2.5 inch strips, 3.5 inch strips and 6.5 inch strips. So they all work around each other, and I can add squares to something like a 4.5 inch little flying geese. I can actually add squares to that to bring it up to 6.5, which gives me 1/4 of the 12.5 inch blocks that I've designed here. So I've got one here that I've done that has the same or similar block, just different orientation to it. I've added squares around it. That's brought me up to a 6 inch square, which is what I've got there. I've got another one here, another one there, another one there. That'll give me a 12 inch finished block. It'll measure 12.5 inch, which is the same as if I've got 4 6.5 inch half square triangles. So I've been able to make them up as units of 12.5 inches to go into a quilt. This quilt, when it finishes, I'm looking at doing it as a 60 inch square, but it would be an easy one to go from, and I'll write the pattern up so it goes from virtually a cot size, which I would do as 1, 2, 3 across by 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 of those, that would be cot size. And then we could do it as slightly larger than that. So we could do another block, another row down and another row across, a 48 by 54. That would go onto a single bed. The 60 inch by 60 inch is more one for an adult. It will go on to the top of a queen size bed, won't go down the side. But just using dynamics of this, we're not wasting too much fabric, makes a difference. So how we do it. So taking our triangle, so the triangle, remember it's marked, I'm going to put this edge, which is the edge that has the 3/8 of an inch cut off, going to place it down on top of my fabric. So it's placed down. My 3.5 inch solid line is going along the bottom of it. I've got my two pieces already together. I'm actually just going to cut along there and then pick that up. That's ready to sew. So I can take that, I've already got one underneath the sewing machine. So I can just take it along, stitch it with a 1/4 inch seam to stitch that. I can place my next one in. I actually have my machine set up so that this machine has what I refer to as a hover position, that when I take my foot off the foot control, the foot lifts up. I can then put my next one in under and sew that. Then I can actually cut another one. So I could cut heaps of these. I've got quite a lot already cut there, ready to just chain stitch through. So when I'm chain stitching, you'll probably have noticed, I'm not cutting in between each. I'm not wasting a lot of thread. I'm just stitching from one to the next. I'll stitch a little bit further than what the edge is so that I can get some thread that's virtually twisted on top of one another. I've got that one ready to go. I'm going to do another one. Then I'll show you what I actually do as well. Out of these same strips that we've cut, so this is a 3.5 inch strip, I can then actually just take my square, and I've just got a square ruler here. I can actually take that. Now remember, this was 3.5 inches. I can actually put that on my 3.5 inches on my square and cut squares. So no more do I have to cut for my triangles 3 7/8, which normally you would have to allow for that extra 3/8 of an inch that I've taken off, or I then would have to do a 3.5 inch strip to cut these squares. I can do it from the whole lot. So there's my square. So I can incorporate that into my work. I could do it so that I have some 4 patches. I could do some 9 patches and then add in with others. That one's not quite big enough, so I could put that aside. I could always cut that down, that we can get a 2.5 inch square out of that, which I've got quite a few here already cut, ready to be used. So that's an easy way of doing half square triangles. When I've cut them, remember I said I chain stitch them, so that means we've chain stitched them, we've got them all together. I can then take them over to the iron. I would lay it down like that on the ironing board, press across that, then flip this back. So that's going to be flipped back, and then it will give you the same as we've got here. All I'm going to do for that then is just trim off this little, see with this little one, we've only got one. Just trim that off. That's ready to go. So that can be used into any project that we want to do. So a project such as the one I've got here could be for an adult, could be for a baby. It's very versatile, and it's only a matter of doing some squares. I've actually done some flying, not some flying geese, I've done flying geese, but I've done fence and rail in there as well. So that was all cut from the same size strips. So very easy to complete. I hope you've enjoyed that. So stay tuned for more of my YouTube presentations, and you'll find them under Just Patchwork Quilt Store. Thank you.